Now, we think of a place as a physical location, but what is he actually saying? That every single person should be in their place. In other words, be in your own emotional and own psychological place that you are in. That he really validated this idea that every single person has a different place that they're in. In other words, a different perspective of reality. Every person comes to this world with a unique starting point, right? A unique place that they were born into, a unique nurture, a unique nature, a unique ego, animal soul, a unique makeup, a unique soul root based on their reincarnation, their past life. And he says every single person comes into this world with their own unique packages and coping mechanisms and challenges and gifts, and everyone should know that they are exactly where they are meant to be, right? Never to compare ourselves to another person, and never to say, oh, this person has, the ability to learn this and this much, or can serve God in this and this way, or can show up to others in this and this way, or has a certain affinity or a certain ability that I don't have. He's telling every single person, you are exactly where you're meant to be. You may find yourself in a dark place. You may find yourself down and in a feeling of constriction. And your job is to bring light to that place. That is the secret to finding inner peace. It's not thinking that if I change, if I get a new job, if I move to a different location per se, if I, get into a different relationship, if I had more money, if I had this and this and this, then I would feel good. I would feel like I'm doing it right. He's saying you are exactly where you're meant to be. And it's about connecting to God exactly where you are. And I think this is so powerful because I think one of the greatest obstacles that we all experience in life is, and one of the greatest reasons really for anxiety, right? Feeling anxiety, feeling depression, feeling any sort of emotion like that, is because we're in a certain place and we think we really should be somewhere else. I was just speaking to someone this week and she's like, I've been speaking to you for a while, and I still feel like I'm still struggling with the same thing. I still feel like I want to get rid of it already. Like I want it to be gone, and I still feel like there's certain things that I'm still struggling with, and I'm still working through. And that is that feeling of like I'm not supposed to be here, and that feeling of I want to get rid of this. I want to, just like I don't want to be here, is exactly what causes us to actually stay stuck in it, because we think that we're supposed to be somewhere else, right? And the Alter Rebbe is saying so much here is we are exactly where we're meant to be, and to notice and to witness without judgment of ourselves. Like God knows the unique packages, the unique challenges that we have, the unique families that we were raised from, the unique traumas that we experience maybe in our lives. And it's really about witnessing and noticing without judgment. Without judgment. Because he's like, you are in the place where you're meant to be. And I think a lot of times I was thinking about it, why is it so hard? Because we feel sometimes fearful that if we accept ourselves for where we're at and we're honest with ourselves and we step out of judgment and we just accept, I'm where I'm meant to be, and I'm here exactly now, and I'm feeling this way I'm feeling, and I'm feeling maybe sad, and I'm feeling like, down maybe about certain things in my life, then maybe I'm going to be stuck there, and maybe I'm going to always be in that place. And the truth is, the more that we can actually accept where we're at and witness it without judgment, which is really having compassion on where we're at, that is really where we can grow from. It's not about saying I'm where I'm at and I want to be stuck here forever and I want to stay here forever. But growth comes from first accepting that we're in the place where we're at and not judging it, and knowing that this is my starting point and this is where I'm at, and giving ourselves compassion and love and witnessing that with acceptance, just like the Alter Rebbe and God is with us in that place. I was actually listening to a parenting class on raising teens, and she was saying this idea, which really hit me a lot, because it's so aligned to this. She was saying that a lot of times, she was giving an example, a lot of times, let's say someone sees their daughter walking in an outfit that she feels is completely not appropriate. The first thing you're gonna say, you would feel like you have to tell her, go change right now, like this is not appropriate, this is not okay. And she was saying how it's so important to just notice and give love. Like if a person is actually acting out or doing something that's not aligned with your value, they're looking for love, they're looking for connection. And the more you actually accept them where they're at, the more likely they are to come back and to come around. Because they see you love them as they are. Like, it's not like, oh, they're here and you want them to be there, but you actually love them exactly where they are, and it gives them the attachment and the connection that they need. And then you're so much more likely that they're going to actually come back, and if you have that basis of the relationship. And I think it's so true in our own personal lives. Like, we have younger parts of ourselves that we have. And we feel like we judge it. We're like, ugh, I don't want to be there anymore. I want to get rid of that voice. I want to get rid of that feeling. And it's like, no, if we would just actually show it love and show it affection and show it that it's safe to be here and it doesn't have to go anywhere, that really is the energy that allows us to actually grow from that place. This is bringing to my mind even a story, like specifically of that parenting story that I read. There was an amazing book out there by this woman. Her name was Henny Machlis. I don't know if any of you heard of her. She was a woman in Yerushalayim, a family that hosted, I think, like hundreds of people for Shabbat meals. Like they would have like 100 people at each of their Friday night meals. You heard of them? You went there? Or you heard of them? Yeah. She unfortunately passed away. She was quite young. I think she was in her like late 40s when she passed away. They still do.
We went there. We ate there a couple of times.
Wow.
We actually ate there a couple of times.
Did you? Wow. Oh, and Shlomi's saying that they still do. Wow. That's amazing, because she did pass away.
Our daughter used to help to cook in the kitchen with them when she was alive.
Wow.
She went to seminary nearby, so she helped out, and we went for dinners there a couple of times.
Wow. And Shlomi's saying so she passed away, and I guess her family continued this.
Okay.
And I read her a biography that her children wrote about her. Like, there's just incredible stories. It's worth reading. You can get it. I forgot what it's called. I think like one of the Chicken Book for the Soul series like has a book. I think something about her like also. But anyway. I really recommend that you read this book. But one story particularly really stuck out in mind. So she was an Orthodox woman, and she, had hosted many guests, a very prominent family. And she had one of her daughters that I think became not observant. Friday night she would host these huge dinners. And I think she would walk in, this girl sometimes like in pants, smoking, whatever it was. And people said whenever she would see this child, she would always make a point, not only of like loving her, but she would even say like whatever she was wearing, whether it was like a tank top, sleeveless pants, she was like, oh my gosh, the colors of your shirt are just gorgeous. Oh, look at that style. Like you put together colors and the jewelry that you put on and the way you put it together, it's just incredible. I'm so amazed at your sense of style and the way you put colors and coordinate different styles together. And people were like amazed at this woman. The sense, like, not only wasn't judging her, but she was like so with her where she was. And this child actually, did completely turn around and wound up like, I think, marrying and lives in Jerusalem herself. But she said it was like this love and acceptance, and like not only love and acceptance, but like even really seeing her for who she was. That was really what made that shift. Like she felt so seen in her process, in her journey, that's actually what made her actually come around. And I was thinking a lot about this story when I was preparing this class, because I was thinking about how much like we judge ourselves, and we're so scared that if we don't get ourselves together and like we don't get out of this rut that we're in, that we're always going to be stuck here, and we get all this fear and anxiety around it, and we have to change, we have to move, like we're going to be stuck here forever, and you have to change the way you act and the way you look and the way you show up and the way your connection. And there's so much to learn, I feel like, from that story of really reparenting the younger parts of ourselves, really. And that's really what the Alter Rebbe is saying here, is to be where we're at. Be here in the exact place. This is what I'm giving you a blessing for. You should be right here where you're at. because, you know, life is not about living without challenges. Obviously, this is life. We're all going to have our challenges. We're all going to have our obstacles. We're all going to have, you know, we were each raised with specific parents and with specific personalities and trauma and whatever it is. But the more we're able to hold the wholeness of who we are and hold that paradox that, yeah, there's parts of ourselves that, you know, want to be close to God and believe fully and trust fully and see good and live with love and live with compassion. But there's also parts of us that experience a lot of fear and anxiety and sadness and grief. And when we can actually hold both of those, that paradox of that human experience that we have, that is really being where we're at. And from that place, we can slowly start making shifts and baby steps. And growth comes from that energetic place. And that's really what he's saying. Now, he goes on here to say, he validates. Again, there's so much love and so much compassion in this message, because he's validating. He's like, hearing words of moral guidance from a righteous person, it's not the same as seeing it or hearing it from a book. He's like, I understand this pain, this challenge of not. And he really says, why is it difficult, you know, to hear something from a book? And he really is giving fully present and with compassion and holding space for everyone's experience. He says, because really, no two minds are alike, just like no two faces are alike. No two minds are alike. We all see reality. We all have a different perspective of reality. We all come with different belief systems and different perspectives and different filters of reality. So, you know, he says it's challenging. You know, like, you're right.